All right, welcome back to Kicking Ass with Tanner Stone. Today we got the same squad back on the podcast to talk about a very deep and exciting topic, which you guys will know soon. We got Sam Ward on the podcast, back better
Cheers
than ever.
to that. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. All this money that I just got. All right, anyways.
we got Michael from Micah, Motivational Mike on the pod.
What do you do? I'm back. Let's go.
And last but not least, we got Lucas Montana.
Hey guys, it's been a minute.
Oh God.
How you guys doing before we get into everything?
Feel good, man.
I'm excited. Yeah. How are you doing?
Feel awesome. Good day,
Thirsty.
good vibes, good people around me.
Sam's counting all his money.
Slight flex.
I'm doing well. I got
gotta
a new
push past
poster.
the-
Yeah.
That's exciting.
You
W
look good,
poster,
man. You look
W
good.
poster.
So the topic we're going to talk about today, it was about this movie that I watched called The Mask You Live In, and it was about masculinity and how all these kids are growing up and they're getting bullied for not being masculine enough or manly enough, or how parents are from their generation, they're kind of teaching their kids on how they grew up, and it's kind of like they're being very hard on their kids. But me personally, I don't feel like it has to do with gender or sex or anything like that. I feel like it just has to do with the environment that they're around. But when you guys think of masculinity and being manly, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I can start this one off. I feel like in the modern society, people like Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have really permeated social media, and that's kind of who like reminds me of someone that's masculine, someone with facial hair, someone that works out, does kickboxing, smokes cigars. That's someone that's masculine to me. That's kind of what my idea is, like a traditional idea.
I can go next on that. I feel like my idea of someone who's a masculine figure is someone who's a leader and could lead other people to the right path.
I don't really know what masculinity is.
I'm with you. I have no clue what it is either, because I think it has to do with yourself and not really just like a sex, not masculinity or femininity. How do you say it? Femininity?
Femininity.
Femininity.
Say that 10 times fast.
But Sam, what's your point of view
Ha
on
ha
that?
ha
On what? Masculinity?
On anything that we're talking about right now, like on
So
this topic?
I know for me personally, I haven't really let how society views norms, I guess, dictate. But I know when my parents tell me something, like I got a tattoo of a guitar and I was thinking about doing some flowers on it.
Mhm.
And like my dad was like, "What are you, a fucking girl?" and like shit like that. I was like, "Oh well, guess I'm not getting flowers on my tattoo." And then what's it called? I remember when I was 7 years old, I was at a bar and I got a Coke and I was with my dad. I was drinking from a straw. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, drinking a Coke. And he's like, "You're a fucking man. Drink like a man." And fucking threw my straw. I was like, "All right, let's do this." So since then, I don't really give a shit what like everyone says, but like if my parents say something, then like I give a shit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's kind of just the people you care about and the people you care about their opinions. That's who you care about, not really just society and what society has to say.
Well, I mean, I care about everyone's opinions, but like my friends will joke with me. Like for instance, this headband. Like I've got a beatbox headband on, and my friends will joke with me about it, but I don't care. I love beatbox. I'm proud to say that I love beatbox. So like I don't care about that. But if my parents were to say something about like it being a bad look for some reason, then I'd like put more weight to it because I just put them higher on my scale of like my stock is more in their opinion than my idiot friends.
Mm-hmm. So, Michael, back to what you said. You said that masculinity is kind of like being tough and knowing how to fight.
Hmm.
Where did you get that belief from?
I mean, just from I guess like media, like what the media portrays, like someone like Rocky that's like ripped, or like Baywatch, like The Rock running on the beach, like with abs and stuff, like with all the girls. I feel like for me that's like a masculine quality for a man.
I agree with you. That's what I see too. I feel like Batman's very masculine.
Hmm.
He's dark. he he's like very, I don't know. I feel like he's alone and he's tough, he's brave. But also on social media, I feel like being masculine, people like us look at all these jacked people and it's like, damn, like is it, I feel like it changes every single day.
I personally feel that like a lot of people say that, but I don't necessarily think it's the truth. Like I remember when I was in debate in high school specifically, there would be a lot of people talking about more so with femininity of how there's unrealistic body standards on social media and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I feel like with everyone that cares, they are the people that are doing something about it, so it doesn't really matter. But the people that like don't care, like it doesn't affect them. So like I don't see the big deal about it personally.
Has anything on social media affected you and affected your confidence at all?
Um yeah. So the only thing on social media that has affected my confidence is a lot of Christianity stuff that will not necessarily make me like sad, but it'll make me kind of look introspectively and kind of feel guilty, which is what it's supposed to do, of like things that I probably am not doing the best.
Hmm. I would say with me, the stuff that affects with me that messes my mind on social media is, I don't know. I see, like I said before, I see these jacked influencers and these people who eat like these food influencers who eat horribly. They eat terrible, like maybe like 12 crumble cookies in one day, and then they won't gain any weight, and then they'll go and run like 20, 30 miles. I'm like, how do you do that? I feel like it's so bad for your body, but
Hmm.
it just messed with me. Like, damn, I wish I had a fast metabolism. But that's just
Did
like
you
luck.
did you see the DK Metcalf thing?
No.
What about him?
DK Metcalf was on a podcast and he was talking about his diet and he's ripped as shit and he only eats like one meal a day, drinks a coffee and has like 4 bags of candy. Like
Really?
gummies and
Wow.
like stuff like that. Like he only eats gummies and it's exactly what you're saying of like people eating like poorly. Like there's no way he should be an all-star athlete,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
he is. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, at that point, it doesn't matter what you eat. It depends if you're in a calorie deficit and counting your calories and controlling what you eat. Like if you, as
Candy
long as you're
though,
in a
like I feel
deficit,
like that's insane.
Yeah. Nah, that's unhealthy. Yeah.
it's unhealthy. But hey, if it works for him, it works for him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah, he can get away with it.
I mean, I feel like he has to have that one meal he has a day has a lot of protein in it because he's a jacked dude, and to get
Wait,
that
who is this
muscle, you
guy?
have to have a certain amount of protein.
DK Metcalf.
He's an NFL player.
Yeah.
He's like one of the like most like perfectly fit NFL players.
He's on the Seahawks now, right?
Yeah,
You see him,
but
Lucas?
Yeah, this guy's shredded, bro. What the heck?
What were you saying, Sam?
Holy
but
shit!
like definitely. And I feel like if you were to put in your mind masculinity and then say like his diet, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you wouldn't say that's like a masculine diet. Like when I think of masculine diet, I think of like a hearty, hearty breakfast and like things like that, you know. But meanwhile, if you were to look at him, except for the earring, you'd think, well, there you go. Like that's an example. Like people have different. Like I was raised of thinking like jewelry wasn't necessarily masculine, but then there's people that I meet that wear jewelry and have earrings and stuff like that I totally see as masculine.
I feel
And
like nowadays the definitions are changing. I feel like it's more
Totally.
about just how you feel, because I love the color pink. You could see right above me, and that's not
Yeah.
a masculine color, but I like it. And you got a
Mhm.
weird headband
Yeah.
okay, weird was not good. You could just say headband. You got a little headband on,
on. Yeah.
but
Michael's got a lesbian haircut.
Someone had to say it. Someone had to say
Yeah.
This is This is
Yeah.
traditional masculine haircut. What do you mean?
it. Dude, that's not a traditional masculine haircut, bro. That is
Yes,
the
bro.
opposite of a traditional masculine haircut.
You got a mop on your head. I don't want to hear it.
I'd rather have a mop than a lesbian haircut, bro.
Bro, it's not
Jeez,
lesbian. All right, we're getting off topic, but what were you saying?
now that we're right on topic. All right,
We're right on topic.
I'm going to get on you in a second. All right, let's keep going.
on me. Whoa. Yeah, I guess he is.
Alrighty, he's not masculine.
Would you guys say that, like, when you were in high school or now that you're in college, when you're around people, do you guys feel like you put on a mask?
Like a different personality or
A different
like,
personality,
attitude.
A different personality, and there's those feelings that you truly are that you hide. Like with you guys, my true self comes out, but there's some times where I put on a mask. Like when I'm in school, I just am the nonchalant podcast guy.
Mhm.
And
No, I kind of feel that, bro. I feel like when I'm in school, especially in high school, I wasn't really myself.
Mhm.
I was
Why,
just,
though? Why would you say
dude, because I was focused on school. I wasn't like, I don't know.
You're not focused on school right now?
I mean, I am.
He got you there.
Yeah, I got you.
No, but I'm
Where'd
saying
you
like when
go?
I'm in school, I'm kind of like just like focused on school, like not really socializing, just like focused on like the task at hand.
Mhm.
And compared to like outside of school, I'm like more social.
Well put. I personally, not at all. Don't change at all. Not even around church. I actually, something that I probably should change about myself is I accidentally curse in church a lot. But
Oh,
part of that is just because like
Prayer
I
for you,
don't.
Sam.
I know, but I don't change anything about the way that I talk. I like to say that I'm pretty respectful. Like if I'm speaking to an authority figure, and if I'm whether I'm talking to someone that I know forever or someone that I don't know all too well, I just hash it out the same.
I have a question going off that. Where do you get your respect from? Because I want to like add on to that question, because I feel like my opinion is how people grow up and how people go through life is how they kind of act and how they are. Like I had loving parents growing up, thank God, but I have had a pretty crazy family, so I've had to grow up pretty fast. I have a brother with autism. I have a brother who's a drug addict, and I've really had to grow up fast. And I feel like through all these experiences and through my family, I've learned to respect people because you never know what's going on in their life. So where do you get your respect from? Is it from? I'm actually curious about that.
Me personally,
Yeah.
yeah, you can go first. I'll go second.
all right.
I'll go third.
So, so I get my respect from just not necessarily the way I was raised, as in like of what you were saying of like I had to grow up fast because I was the oldest brother, so I was like taking care of my brothers and stuff like that. So it wasn't necessarily like in the same way, but I get my respect from just the way that my parents taught me. My parents always, no matter like I have things that I could complain about, and like I'm not going to list them, but that it doesn't matter what you are going through because like I like to think of like an airplane. Like you look up at an airplane and it's so small, but on an airplane there's at least like 100 people on it, and each person has lived a full life, and you have no idea what they've gone through. So in all of that, they could be a 5-star general, or they could be a guy working at McDonald's. But that guy working at McDonald's could also be the only person in his family working, and he's trying to field or food or God damn it, feed feed like a family of 5 or whatever. And it's just that I was always taught by my parents that everyone deserves respect because you have no idea what anyone, whether they're homeless or whether they're the richest man in the world, is going through.
It's really well put. Seriously, that's exactly what I said. How like with my little struggles in my family compared to someone else, they could be going through it's so much worse, and you never know because, like we said before, how people could put on a mask. You never know what someone's going through because they could be showing you what's not really them.
Exactly.
So, what do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I'd say for me, where my respect comes, it comes from three different places. The first being family, like you, Tanner. I also going for the downward.
No,
All right. Oh, what are you saying?
no, nothing. Keep going.
All right, yeah. So like you, like I grew up in a loving, caring family, and they always, treated me with love. So I try to spread that love around. So that's the first place. The second place is gonna be in the school, right? In school, there's a poster. It says the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, right? So I try to echo that same sentiment in my life, and that's the second place. And the third place is in the church. I have a pretty religious family, like my extended relatives, and something that they say in the church is love thy neighbor. And I try to go around, emulating the Lord and the Lord's works, trying to love all people and try not to judge. That's where it comes from for me. Lucas,
That really touched my heart right there, Mikey.
Yeah, I really respect that.
thank you.
Especially coming from the Lord. I never knew you were a
Amen.
very
Hallelujah.
very Lord person,
I try.
godlike person. I never
Try.
knew that.
You never noticed that?
I never noticed that coming from you.
Yeah, you gotta look harder. All right. What about you, Lucas?
I would say, well, obviously my family. I get the respect for them, and also my brother, and the way he treats other people, and the way people talk about him as well, and how they respect him as a person.
So, just the people around you.
Yeah, like even like from you guys as well, and some of my brother's friends. Like my brother's friends, he'd introduce, like, let's say if my friends were over, my brother would come over and he'd introduce himself to every single one of his friends, and then I learned that from him. And then when his friends are over, I did the same exact thing
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like
Yeah.
we treated everyone with like
He always
equal
shakes our
respect.
hand. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I want to go off that because I actually learned a respectful trait from you, Lucas.
Oh really? What
When
the
we were
heck?
when we were in Utah, and this is like when I think this is when we really became close. Me, you, Luke, and whoever was in Utah. Sorry,
Not Michael.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to
But,
be in the next one. Yeah.
but I remember Raiden and Nick Zid were in a fight, and I started talking about Nick Zid or Raiden. I forgot who it was, and you just totally changed the subject. And I'm like, damn, like I feel like a dick talking about someone behind their back. And you guys showed me to not talk about people behind their back, and I just after that day I stopped. I remember
Yeah, say
telling
it to
my
their
mom
face.
about that, and I was like,
It's a
damn,
pussy trait. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like a dick now because Lucas and Luke just showed me that that's just not cool. But you got to understand, this is where I was trying to go back to. I never knew any better with my old friend group. That's all I knew. But then like I met you guys, and it's just like I just am around such like a better
Positive,
group,
uplifting
positive,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's about who you're around, and that's where I get my respect from.
Totally.
Oh yeah, like they say, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
Well put.
I mean, it's true at the end of the day. Back to the masculinity thing. Do you guys have any role models in your life that you look up to as someone who's masculine and you like want to, not let's say be like them, but have similar
Emulate,
traits
yeah.
as them and like emulate them?
Michael's gonna say Andrew Tate. We know, we get it.
Yeah, that was
Besides
mine. But
And David
I mean,
Goggins, we got it.
yeah, those were mine. But what about you guys? Let's hear from the rest of everyone.
How about you, Lucas?
Myself, actually.
Oh, fucking
Tommy.
Tom.
He's not
bro.
here.
Sam, to answer your question, someone who I really look up to, there's actually two people I look up to and kind of want to emulate their traits. but like in different areas or like different aspects in life. One is my brother. All right, he's taught me to be very respectful to other people because, as you said about the plane situation, you never know who you run into. You know,
Exactly.
be very respectful to others. And the second is my dad on the stuff he's been through to like get to the point where he's at now. Like, don't complain about anything. Don't complain about like the little things because other people go through stuff that's way harder than you've ever been through your whole entire life.
Lucas, you said your question was who's a masculine figure you look up to. Would you say your brother and your dad are masculine figures, and why?
I would say they're masculine figures because masculinity to me means someone who is able to lead like people into the right like path or the right way, and they've showed me like the right things to do in life instead of bringing me down like a different path.
I respect that. I would say, um,
I mean, yeah, yes, I can see masculinity as also being like being strong
yeah,
and you know being a man of your word.
but leaders
That's-
are strong in the mind. That's basically
exactly.
what you're
It's
saying.
all
Yeah.
different. Like there's different aspects of like masculinity out there. It's not also just being like what you really like what social media portrays it as. Like Michael said, like Andrew Tate, smoking cigars, being rich, having
Well, that's
a
what
ton of money.
because I feel like the media like peddles that motive and like that like scenario.
They do peddle that motive, but
Imagery.
is that the right motive to peddle?
I didn't say it's right, but that's what like
Yeah.
on my feed. That's what I'm seeing.
I'll be right
But
back.
that's like toxic masculinity. That's where like we get into that as well, that territory. When it like what's too much masculinity in a way.
I mean, well, I don't think they're. I feel like that's something social media made up. Toxic
You think?
masculinity, having too much masculinity, twisting the
with
words of
Lucas.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like no one
Yeah,
really
I was just
knows
asking.
what. Like back, I feel like back then, what masculinity really was you get a wife, you provide for the wife, and you provide for your family, and you keep them always like
safe.
safe and protected.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
true masculinity is. Like
Mhm.
providing for someone, leading them the right way, being a great leader, and making sure they're safe and protected no matter what.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with like all the
Mhm.
hard stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. I feel like being masculine is taking a bullet for your family and always protecting the people around you. But it's also being a leader, which a leader is all that stuff is under the group of a leader. The truth is I look up to my dad. My dad is a very masculine person, but at the same time he has feelings. Like masculinity doesn't mean that you're all hard and tough like Andrew Tate, because I bet you once Andrew Tate turns off that camera, he has those like times where he gets sad. He just doesn't show it because he doesn't want to take off that
100%.
mask.
Yeah.
But I respect people who can show people who they truly are and show that they care and they have feelings, because the hardest thing as a man is to let your feelings out. That's what I would say. What would you say, Sam?
Well, that's wait, go Sam.
Who I
No,
look
go
up
ahead,
to.
Michael.
I can go, but like what Tanner you were saying about letting your feelings out. I was gonna say like where does that draw the line? Because what toxic masculinity, I feel like a good example is not expressing yourself to like a partner, to like a group of friends, and just like bottling it up because you don't want to, I guess, seem less masculine. So I was like, where does that draw the line for masculinity?
Can you explain the question a little bit more?
Like is it masculine to like show emotion and like cry in front of like people? Because I feel like the media portrays that as like, I don't know, toxic. Like men shouldn't like share their emotions.
I feel like
I feel like people have a problem with toxic masculinity, which is the perception of people don't portray their emotions.
Sam's 100% right. I feel
Yeah,
like it's
it's
less to do
perfect.
with masculinity.
Yeah, whatever Sam said.
and more to do with your own feelings and how you are as a person. I feel like that you should aim to be an open person and confident person who shows their feelings, no matter, even if they care. Like, who cares if someone's making fun of them for showing their feelings? Like, that's what they do. And I feel like that's what a true good person does. I don't think there's any such thing as toxic masculinity. I'm with Sam.
I agree.
I can tell you with me personally, something my friends will joke about me with, but every time whenever I'm leaving, like my closest friends from Palm City, every time when I leave, every single time I go to each individual one, I give them like a huge bear hug. I pat on the back and I say, yo, I love you, man. I love you.
Yeah, does it with me.
And
So you did it
it,
with us, yeah.
yeah, and it's something that some people are caught off guard just because they're so unused to it. But like I was saying before, there's a or I didn't say this on the pod, but there's a real chance that at any point, any of them or I could die in a car accident, and I won't have that last goodbye. So you just gotta, in my opinion, I treat everything like it's the last time I'm seeing someone. And I remember growing up, like if I was to do anything besides dab someone up, people are like, "Oh, what are you
Yeah.
doing?" But I don't care, and I don't know. That's just something that I was throwing out there.
Is there a reason for that you do that stuff? Because like, have you had someone where like it was the last time you saw them and you regret not saying bye?
I
No,
was about to ask.
I don't want to have that. My reason is because I don't want to have that regret.
Mm-hmm. That's deep. I really like that about you because for the people watching, he's not lying. Like seriously, I first met Sam and I had like I remember before he left to go home during the summer, we had a really deep conversation. That was my first time really getting to know him. Remember, it was in the hot tub.
Yep.
Yeah, and we opened up to each other. It might not be masculine per se, as people would say, but I feel like that's the bravest thing you could do is let someone in.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I write about it all the time, and I talk to people. I'm a huge believer in being totally open with someone.
Mm-hmm.
I've been both hurt by people not saying everything that was going on in their life, and I've personally hurt people, I'm sure, by not saying everything that's going on in my life. And I've just totally broke down that wall. If anyone has any, like literally any questions about me, or I have a question about them, I feel like it's totally all right to be just totally open, because
Open
openness
book.
is key. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I agree with you on being open to people, but for some reason, like I don't feel like I can be open to certain people. Like with you guys, I'm open with, you know.
Explain, yeah.
But when it comes just like certain people, just okay, I don't want to like. When it comes to women, sometimes
Explain.
I don't feel like I really open up with them to the max of my ability. What?
Nothing. Keep going.
No, yeah, I just said like I don't really open up to one with like the max of my ability. I feel like I open up with like my friends. Just like I'm just more open with them than like females. I don't know. It's weird.
I get what you're saying. We talked about it last night, and I don't want to like go too much into that topic, but the quick gist of it is it's hard to trust a girl after one girl really breaks your trust, but you got to realize that everybody's a different person. You have to give everybody a fresh start no matter what goes on in your past, not just with girls, with anything and everything. Because I could have a bad experience with, let's say, steak at Outback Steakhouse, but then I try it at a different steakhouse and I'll love it. I feel like it's the same thing with
Or the
people.
same steakhouse. Sometimes it's just that night.
It's
Exactly.
the chef sometimes.
It could
Goddamn
be the
chefs.
chef, but you get what I'm saying though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I struggle with it too. I still have lots of trust issues, but being around you guys is helping.
To me personally, on like that topic exactly, it took me, after not trusting, like of what you're saying, not trusting a girl, it took me not trusting someone, and then that situation ending, and then having a conversation with that person and looking back like, oh man, I was the dick this time. Like it wasn't the other person's fault, it was my fault. It took me doing wrong to see how I can future do right, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
So
get
I
it.
feel like,
It took you a while to see how you could change in the future.
yeah, I guess.
You said future do right, so I thought that meant change in the future.
No, well, like I'm saying, uh like I was, I did totally right. I got wronged, and then I wound up being like untrustworthy, which is one of the most wrong things you can do in a relationship, right?
Mhm.
And then I went ahead and I found out after the relationship ended because of me. Like I ended it because I was untrusting. I was like, man, I was the douchebag, right?
Yeah.
So then you go ahead, you look introspectively, and you're like, all right, I'm not gonna let the past wronging, the past wronging that was done to me affect future stuff and continue wronging me, because then it's no longer that person's fault. It's my fault.
Yeah,
So
because you're picturing, you can't picture that person as the person before. Everybody's different.
yeah, exactly. Just like you were saying with the Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah. Well, I feel like all right, Lucas got something to say.
I have a question.
What's up?
I want what is your definition of success? Like each one of you guys.
Like the
Really?
definition to success is surrounding yourself with the right people. If you surround yourself with people that'll keep pushing you forward, then you will be successful. If you surround yourself with people that'll hold you back, then that's where you're gonna be. You're gonna be held back.
That was good. I
Thank you.
really felt that.
Cheers to
It's
that.
better than any.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
hold up.
cheers.
Cheers.
I feel like we touched a lot of great topics. Touched masculinity. We touched success just now. We touched before on what it means, like where we get our respect from and who we admire. So we can start off with Sam, since you're kind of like the rookie.
The rookie. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm the oldest one here.
No, for the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What's your biggest take from the pod? What do you
I'm
learn?
so lost.
My biggest take from the pod is that masculinity, everyone's definition for it is kind of different. Some people don't even know what it is. And all that really matters is how you carry yourself and how you perceive yourself, because other people's opinion doesn't matter. At the grand scheme of things, your mind is what controls your body. And it's plain and simple like that.
All right, I'll go
That's
next.
good.
Are you ready this time?
You throwing shade this time or what, bro?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's hear it.
I feel like Sam summed it up really well about what masculinity is and the whole podcast of what we talked about. But some points I wanted to add in is that just respect the people around you and continue kicking ass in life.
So, in my opinion, in the modern age, masculinity is
Okay,
a
mute this
very
kid.
fluid topic. It's not what the media like peddles or portrays. As long as you look in the mirror every single morning, and you can decide for yourself whether you think you're masculine or you think you're feminine, regardless of gender, and you're happy with that, then it's nothing to be ashamed of, and it doesn't matter if you don't match what is portrayed on social media. So, in my opinion, that's my thoughts on that.
You're right. I feel like that everybody's different, and social media doesn't define you. It's perfectly said. I feel like that after all the stuff we talked about, the masculinity topics and everything, I mostly related to two topics. The topic that Lucas stated at the end, the one about how we can't treat everybody as the same person because they're not the ones who did that damage to us. You have to give everybody a fresh start. And also, the other thing I want to talk about was take your mask off around the people you're comfortable with. You have to open up a little bit. And I feel like that in your group, those friends that you have, just let them in, tell them what's going on. And if they judge you, they're not really your friends. Those people that are in your circle, you have to be open and honest with them. And if they judge you, then fuck them. So thank you guys. I had a great time talking to y'all.
Thank you for
again,
having
Sam,
me
for
again.
coming
Thank
on.
you. Yeah.
Really enjoyed
Thank you a
that
million
topic.
times over.
Yeah.
Peace, guys.
See you in the next one. Bye.